Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru Podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanofsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path on a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up.
Greetings, my friends, conversationalists, thrill seekers, career gurus, career guru wannabes, everyone within the sound of my voice. It is I, Steve Yanofsky, your career guru, coming to you across the magical waves of the internet once again. And I'm glad to be here, mind you, because God only knows where one can be at any particular moment, but yet here we are together one more time, virtually. And so, due to the resounding success of the previous episode where we talked about or we broached the subject of the imposter syndrome, there were a few emails and text messages that came in from some of you. And the question was, well, I have silenced my imposter. I silenced the voice, but I am still not feeling it. So, what do we do now? What's the story? This is one of the most common things that I hear about all the time. And again, in my world where I meet many people on a daily basis, and a lot of people in my capacity seem to gravitate towards me with all sorts of stories and conversations, this, that, and the other thing. And, all these things do come up. People I work with do listen to this podcast. So they stop me in the hallway and say, hey, Guru, well, what about this? I've been working in this for a while. And, that last podcast really did, hit it home for me. But now what? I know, the voice, I hear it. I know it's lying to me, but I'm still feeling it. I'm still there. My response is, okay, of course you do. Of course you do. Just because you understand it now doesn't dissolve it. It doesn't make it go away. Naming your fear doesn't make it disappear. Imposter syndrome is tough. It's not a knowledge problem. It's your, guess what? Drum roll, please. It's your identity problem. It's much deeper. It's a feeling. It's not really rooted in anything real. And here's what I mean. See, most of us build our professional identity from the outside in, right? You put on a white lab coat or you wear your scrubs and, it gives you this image, this aura, this air of belonging to something. I mean, you can put on a white set of overalls, get yourself a paintbrush, and you can call yourself a painter, but are you one? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, doing something and contributing to that imposter syndrome. We have a title, we have our salaries, we have our credentials, we have our LinkedIn profile, Facebook images, and we try to feel like all those things that they represent us. But when that internal voice doesn't match the external label, we feel like frauds. And that's the essence of what we discussed last time. What causes that seismic shift within you? What causes that earthquake that says, why, yes, I am all those things. I'm not an imposter. It's this part which is building your identity from the inside out rather than the outside in. It is a decision that you must make on the fundamental level, on your core, that you are that someone that does this work. Not because you've proven it to everyone else yet, but because you've chosen it. And that is the biggest difference. One of the things I tell my students when I help them build their resumes and I may have talked about this already. I'm getting all wrapped up. I mean, we're fast approaching about 100 episodes. It doesn't seem like much in the grand scheme of things, but getting close to 100 episodes of your podcast is something that's beginning to ring some bells for yours truly. And don't think for a minute that I didn't have that little imposter thing, rearing its ugly head just for a little bit, because as I may have mentioned before, the guru doesn't suffer from this affliction most of the time, but sometimes it does happen. What I tell my students is that, hey, put everything you got on your resume. Don't worry about that you're not perfect in some of these skills. Just because you know something, put it out there. You'll grow into it. You'll grow into it. And this is what people need to understand. It happens from the inside out. Yes, sometimes, the old saying, the clothes make the man. Yeah, kind of, right? But it's the inside that projects all of this. And this is what we need to uh, make that choice and that determination. The minute you set foot in a classroom to become that somebody that you intend to be, you are that person that you have chosen to become. You are that person from the moment that you made that decision. By the time you made it to your classroom or that job that is giving you some on the job training, there's plenty of that around, you are that person. It's not philosophy. It's not a philosophical tool that I'm giving you. I'm telling you that this is the actual truth. This is exactly how it happens. It's the strategy that you can employ, completely and totally isolate this imposter that is haunting you and is keeping you from, being who you actually are. The word imposter itself comes with this implication. It conveys the message that there is the imposter and there's the real version of you. Are there two of you out there? I don't think so. There's only one of you. The competent, the credentialed, the put together one. You are all those things, not a fake one. There is no fake version. You are one. That unity is indivisible. You can't split yourself into two. Okay? Um, so just remember, there's only one version of you, the one that you keep projecting outwardly from within. But for that, you need to believe. Remember this: every professional you admire, every expert, every leader, every high performer was at some point in the first few weeks of a new role, they were all learning things. They didn't know stuff. They made mistakes. They made mistakes that they are embarrassed about to this day. They all wondered if they would make it. The difference between them and someone stuck in imposter syndrome is not competence. It's the story they tell about being in progress. It's a big difference. And they believed in themselves. You don't have to believe that little voice inside your head saying that you don't know anything, you're pretending, they're going to find out who you really are. No, no, they won't. You showed up, they're there with you. Remember, success is 80% of success is showing up. All high performance to this day haven't quite figured it out. You know what they're figured out? That they're figuring it out. They're doing it. And they're doing it anyway, despite all the challenges. This anchor that holds people back don't believe that they can actually figure it out. They can't figure it out, so I guess they really shouldn't be there in the first place. Just remember, you're already there. You might as well swim. You don't have to sink. You don't have to succumb to this failure mentality. So the first shift in your identity is to stop measuring yourself against the finished version of who you think you should be. You don't have to compare yourself to others. You certainly don't have to compare yourself to someone who you think you should be. I'm not talking about not showing up to work on time. I'm talking about not believing that you can actually figure it out. Why don't you look at yourself who you were before you got this job, or someone who you were maybe 6 months ago? Did you improve? If you didn't, well, shame on you, but that doesn't make you an imposter. It could make you many different things, but you're not an imposter. Maybe you're just complacent. I don't know. But guess what? You wouldn't last in the job for 6 months that people are expecting results from if you haven't made the change, if you didn't improve, if you didn't figure it out. Okay, so I guess someone else thinks that you belong there. It may not be you, but that's what we're trying to change. The second shift is moving from asking, am I good enough, to asking, get this, what can I contribute? You'll never be good enough. You'll never have enough money. But you can always ask, what can I contribute? What can I do? See, the imposter framework is entirely self-focused. It's about whether you can deserve to be in the room. The contributor framework is outward facing, okay? It's from the inside out. It's about what you can bring to the table, what you can bring to your community, what you can bring to your team. And the moment you shift from one to the other, the imposter syndrome will lose most of its grip on you. Last time I told you that you have to build what we called a win file, small victories, a document where you can record every win, no matter how big, every compliment, every piece of positive feedback. And that is still something you have to do. It's the foundation. Collect compliments that people tell you. You don't have to say no. No, 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 no. I'm not any of those things. Don't disparage other people. If they paid you a compliment, you earned it. It's all good. Let's go a little bit deeper. Uh, because the win file full of other people's opinions is still an external validation of who people perceive you are. What we're building toward is a track record that you trust, your track record, that you trust, facts based on your own experience and on your own performance. So not just what other people say about you, but what have you done to prove yourself worth the effort? It's a multi-layer approach. Let's call it the 3-layer proof cake. Layer number 1, skills that you have deliberately practiced or acquired. Not skills that you have been handed, not credentials you received, but skills you personally invested time and in developing. When you can say, I got better at this because I put in the time and effort, that is the evidence that belongs to you. Nobody gave it to you. You did it yourself. You earned it. Get it in there. Layer number 2, the problems you actually solved. Think back over the last few months. What went wrong that you helped fix? What challenge came up that you navigated? What didn't you know at the start of a project that you figured out by the end? These are all what we call data points. Write them down. They are your receipts of your competence. How do you prove you made a payment? Well, you may have a canceled check or you may have a receipt. This is your receipt. I did this. These are my deliverables. Layer number 3. Remember what I told you? 80% of success is just showing up. So layer number 3 is this moment. The moments you showed up when it was hard. Not when it was easy. The moments when you were scared and did it anyway. Remember I told you a story about how I took a nosedive into that puddle? And on the way to my interview, it was so easy to turn around, take my clothes off, take a shower, sit and watch TV. I said, the heck with that job interview. No, I dragged myself on that train and I walked into that interview room, and lo and behold, they took one look at me and said, "You fell into the puddle running for the train and you showed up and you got that job. Everybody else was let go, were let go, and I got the job and I got a raise. I really wasn't counting on it. You showed up. You had that hard conversation. It wasn't easy. It was hard. The presentation you weren't sure you were ready for, but you gave it anyway. You showed courage under pressure. When you did that, this is your receipt. That is what built your professional identity as a winner, as a stand-up kind of a guy or a gal. When you have all of these 3 layers in that cake, you got the practice skills, you got the problem solving, you got the moments of courage. The imposter syndrome has to argue against this entire stack of evidence, not just a feeling. And evidence beats feelings every time. Last time, I gave you 5 tools to silence the voice when it showed up. Today's 5 are different. These are habits that change the conditions so it's harder for the voice to find a foothold in the first place. Okay? Habit number 1, do a weekly evidence check. Once a week, Friday afternoon, Sunday night, whatever works for you. Spend 5 minutes writing down one thing that you did really well that week. Not a major win, just one thing you handled competently, or just plain old handled. See, this habit over 6 months, for example, right? If you do it for 6 months straight, it becomes a library of evidence that is impossible to argue with. You can't. It's tangible, especially if you're writing this down. We talked a little about journaling for other means, but you want to beat this yourself, put it in the journal. Collect pictures of your success. Have a scrapbook, something physical. Today, some people don't like scrapbooks. People have all sorts of stuff that they can do online. Okay. But you know what? For this purpose, collecting these receipts, if you will, in a binder is a fabulous thing. It's tangible. It's not on the net. It's not in the cloud. It's in your hands. You can touch it and feel it. Habit number 2, stop putting on a show of confidence. Start practicing it. See, there's a difference between faking confidence for an audience or even for yourself and actually developing it through repetition. What did I just say? Repeat, exercise again and again and again and again. Performing is exhausting and it doesn't build anything. It's a show, it's a performance, it's not real. But practicing, it means doing that scary thing regularly enough that it stops being scary. And this particular habit is identifying one thing per week that makes you slightly uncomfortable professionally, but doing it anyway. Habit number 3, find your comparison peer, not your comparison ceiling. See, imposter syndrome is often fueled by comparing yourself to the most experienced person in the room. That is not a fair comparison, and it will never make you feel good. Your comparison peer is someone who is roughly where you are, or where you are maybe a year ago. I don't know. Comparing something up close and personal like this is good, while comparing yourself to something that's unattainable at this moment in time is just unfair, and it creates nothing but despair. If you compare side by side, peer to peer, it creates insight. When you look backwards, you will create gratitude. Habit number 4. Hey, teach something. Teach someone every week. Teach someone. You learned that one thing, apply it. Practical application is your greatest teacher. Nothing builds professional confidence like teaching. When you explain something to someone else, a concept, a skill, a process, you stop being the student who might be found out, and you become the source of useful knowledge. See, that makes you an expert. You're not an imposter, you're an expert. See what I mean? Find these opportunities, take them, run with them, use them to your advantage, and become a subject matter expert. It may not be much, but it's something. Habit number 5, audit. Audit yourself, audit your inputs. What you consume, whether it's food or information, shapes what you believe about yourself. You are what you eat. That's what I mean, right? When we talk about external influences that build us as professionals, it shapes you. It shapes you. It shapes you to believe in yourself. See, if you take this social, or as I refer to it oftentimes, anti-social media, and you, in your feed, you have highlights of everyone else's achievements with none of the struggle, it will feed the imposter syndrome constantly. Be very careful about what you choose in your social media stuff. Follow people who share the process, not just the result. Read the stories of professionals who talk about their failures, who talk about their pain, just as much as they talk about their wins. Change your input, and you will change your internal narrative about what goes on. Last time, we talked about recognizing the lie. This one, we talk about building the truth. Imposter syndrome, like we talked, doesn't go away because you understand it. It goes away, or at least it loses its power, because you build a better version of yourself. And it's building not in the clouds, but on the foundation of evidence, in skills, in solved problems, in courageous moments. When you have that layer or layers of evidence, that imposter voice has nothing left to argue with, because feelings always take a step back, or multiple step back, to physical evidence. It's not going to happen from the time we recorded this episode, last episode, next episode. It'll happen over some months, when you put in the effort, when you do the work, when you form and implement these habits. It will happen slowly, but at some point, boom, just like that, the switch will flip, and you will be in a much better place. Let's leave you with an assignment. Start the 3-layer proof stack. Get a binder or open a document right now. Pull out a notebook. Write down one item for each layer. that we talked about, one skill you've deliberately practiced, one problem you solved in the last 6 months, one moment you showed up when it was hard. That's it. 3 sentences. This is how the track record begins. I'll leave you with that. Start the work. Do the work. Physically, I recommend a binder with little pockets that you could stick stuff into. Make it count. Fill it up. Read it over. Look it over. And you will become that person that I know you are. Well, my dear friends, I thought this was really good. I really felt it. And I want to leave you with a positive outlook on your most bright future, filled with success and financial rewards. It is Career Guru signing off. Talk to you soon.
Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I'm feeling grateful that we spend time with you. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website, bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses located in Brookline, Massachusetts, Malden, Massachusetts, and Lowell, Massachusetts. Call our toll-free number, 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and or information about our podcast, email me at thecareerguru@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, bostoncareer.org, or wherever you stream your podcast. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your rating and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, The Career Guru lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. Hashtag the new radio. Looking forward to seeing you soon. All the best to you. My name is Steve Yanofsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. Hashtag let's career up.